This morning, I got up earlier than my kids, and I was thinking to myself, man, I never thought this time would come. I used to get so frustrated because I wanted to have that 5 a.m. morning routine. This was one of my triggers, and I just couldn't have it. And I can just remember feeling so frustrated with my kids when they wouldn't give me this time. And I rarely get this time in the morning to myself. My kids are actually watching a show right now. It's not like they're not here. They're just they like to watch a show in the morning and that's what they're going to do. And I've just I've realized as I was doing my hair and makeup, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've come so far." I struggle so hard with mom rage. I was so triggered. How did I come to this place where things kind of just ebb and flow? I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't ever get frustrated. I don't ever have these feelings of frustration or rage or anger, but I'm able to control them. And how did I get there? And I knew, like, I could remember back thinking to myself, I wish I just had a friend. I wish I had a friend that understood and who had gone through the same thing. I mean, because it was embarrassing. Like, the truth is that when you have mom rage, it is so embarrassing and you don't want to tell anybody about it. And I get that. I totally get that. It was me. I didn't want to tell anybody. I would tell my husband bits and pieces of how frustrated I was feeling, how triggered I was, but never did I explain to the full extent. And I knew that if I could figure out the just the healing point, I was going to share that with the world. And I wanted to be an advocate for moms to know that they could heal. They didn't have to be this way forever. They could be the calm, loving, patient, kind, empathetic parent that they always wanted to be. It wasn't like the family that they were born into made it easier. It was all from things that they could do, everyday, daily things. And so I wanted to share my journey. I did share my journey. I have shared my journey. This is more of like things if I could go back and tell myself to do, I would do. So I have my chicken scratch here of all the things that I did. I just wrote it down while I was doing my makeup. I was jot these things down because I need to talk about it. I need to share it. So the very first thing that if I could go back and tell my ragey mom self one thing is to slow down. I mean, slowing down was the key for me. I was so addicted to being in productive mode for being I was addicted to this feeling of like constantly going and doing, and that was just my body being in fight or flight. And this constant kind of like if you're in mom rage, it's just kind of this push and pull, like constantly, and it feels like it never really lets down. And I think for me that moment was actually slowing down through tasks, not multitasking, not doing 100 things at once. And that's really what named my channel, Slowish Parenting. That's what I chose because it just was the thing that just made sense. Now, the second thing that I started doing was somatics. I do somatics every single night, and it's been life changing for me. It's given me the calm that I've needed in those moments where I can start to feel the frustration bubbling up. It doesn't bubble to the extent that it used to because my body is learning what it feels like to be safe, which is something I'll get to a little bit later. But my body is learning how to feel calm and relaxed. And this is so important in this journey. Okay, hang on. I got to take an intermission because I hear my kids tapping on the laptops. We don't have TVs. And I'm worried that they're tapping on things they shouldn't be. All is well with the world. So the third thing that I did was I started practicing being calm off the mat. And what that means is in those really high stress moments, those moments where I was falling into the mom rage, I was trying to use deep breathing. I was trying to pause. I was trying to do things logically, and my brain could not be logical. It was so stressed, which rightfully so that it couldn't be logical. So I wish that I would have practiced the deep calm breathing, which is so much of what somatics, not that that is the calm breathing, but the somatics is teaching our bodies off the mat, which is not in those stressful moments, how to be calm. So when we do come up to a situation, we know what calm feels like. We know what patience feels like, because for me, I did not know what that felt like. I'd never experienced in my life what calm truly felt like until I was in somatics. And I was like, oh my gosh, this really changed everything for me. I don't think I mentioned this earlier in the somatics portion, but I love the workout, which I will link it below. It is an affiliate link, but I signed up for the course, and then I reached out and asked her, like, hey, can I work with you as an affiliate? Because I have loved it so much, and it's been truly transformational in my journey. Okay, but enough of somatics. The off the mat stuff you can be doing is things like anchor breathing. Wow, the sun is so beautiful, and yet it's so bright. Um, anyway, doing anchor breathing, which I just did in a recent video. I'll make sure to link it here somewhere, and then down in the description below. But figuring out how to get a deep, good breath prior to any big situation happening is going to be key in helping you to stay calm when you are triggered. Now, imagine I keep telling you when you are triggered. I'm sure you know when you're triggered, like you can feel it coming, but do you actually know what is triggering you? Because just because your child is triggering you, what is the actual thing behind the scenes? Like, what is the thing that's holding you back from showing up with patience and kind and calm? And for me, I had to learn this through a lot of inner work. This is what I do with coaching. This is what I went to school for, is to help you to understand what is triggering you, why it's happening, and then how to work through that. And when I work with moms who deal with mom rage, the first thing I'm looking for is patterns and understanding, okay, these patterns keep happening. And then let's go into those patterns and let's dig deeper and let's see what the trigger is behind all of that, because the baby crying is not necessarily the trigger. The trigger is something much deeper. And for me, I came to this understanding that there were two triggers for me. One, I was born 5 weeks early. I cried for the first 2 months of my life, and so much of our body through our nervous system is triggered when we're in similar situations, and my body was mimicking the same feelings that I had as a little tiny baby. My need for hunger, as my mom now tells me, was not met. I was constantly hungry, and she was having trouble with supply, and so I was frustrated. And you can imagine these feelings coming up for myself when my babies would cry. The second trigger was the NICU. So I couldn't do anything when my babies cried. I just had to watch them. And it was this very intense, frustrating, like, oh, just get me in there. Just let me do this. Let me just, and I couldn't. And so that, all of that mixed together built up this big thing where I could not handle my kiddos crying. I couldn't handle them waking up in the middle of the night and crying, because I was so uncomfortable with what I was feeling. But when I was able to identify and understand these are the things that are going on for me, I began to have empathy for myself, which leads me to my next thing, which is number 5. Empathy, self-empathy. Oh my goodness. If I could give you self-empathy right now, to just love yourself, to have compassion for yourself, I would just like pass it through here right now and be like, here, take it. Because self-empathy, I feel like, is key. It's so amazingly beautiful to give yourself that. There's a beautiful video through nonviolent communication, which I will link below, that helps with understanding self-empathy. But I believe that having empathy for my journey, for my history, for what I've gone through in those moments, helped me to realize it's not my baby. I love this baby so stinking much. They're everything. They're my world. Let me be intuitive. Let me feel that safety, feel that calm in my body, and know that the feelings that are coming up have nothing to do with this baby, but everything to do with this experience. And for me, differentiating those two things, pulling those two things apart and holding them at the same time made it so easy for me to be able to just kind of drop the expectations and the feelings. I mean, not like suppressing them, but like acknowledging, like, yeah, I'm feeling really frustrated and whatever, but this has nothing to do with my baby. And intuitively, my baby needs me right now. I need to be that calm, ooey gooey honey. And the more like ooey gooey, like it's the best way to explain it, just this calm, like just giving mother that I could be, the more addicted to that I became. And I just wanted to be that for my kids. When they were crying, I just wanted to scoop them up and just hug you. Just hug you so tight and let you know you're going to be okay. And I love you. And your mama's here to just love you. Like that was so healing for me. I hear the kids. Let's make this quick. Number 6 is finding safety. I mentioned this earlier, finding safety in your body. Feeling safe doesn't just mean like you have a house over your head. This really comes down to like safety within the body. Does this mean you're eating frequently? You're taking your vitamins? Are you, depleted? Are you tired, really overly tired? Are you stressed about relationships, finances? All of this kind of adds into that safety. Wow, the sun, it's beautiful and woo-wee, it's bright. But anyway, I found so much safety in my body when I began identifying the areas where I did not feel safe. And that's why I love a pro-metabolic way of eating, because it's very much supporting our bodies. It's bringing safety to the body. It's becoming understanding. I love this holistic approach to the body. It's not just one aspect, it's multiple aspects. And so yeah, starting to find that safety. And somatics is another thing that's going to help you to do that, because it's going to help you to calm your body and your nervous system down enough to get to safety, to get access to it, and to really release that fight or flight that you are in. Okay, the last thing that I would recommend anybody who's struggling with mom rage is ask for help. You don't need to tell somebody, hey, I'm struggling with mom rage, but so often it's the moment of, I can't get out of this moment. And I want you to know, I am the mom who, my husband was in the military. So I have been what essentially I would consider a single mom for periods of time. He, would have to leave and go, and there was nothing I could do. I was just home. I didn't have family around. So I understand not being able to ask for help, but there were people I could have asked for help and I just didn't. My neighbor next door, she loved babies. She would have happily come over and just like rocked her while I took a minute to just go outside and water my garden. Like if I had done those things, I would have changed everything for me. And now that I have 2 kiddos, we're settled. My husband is no longer active duty. It's been so much easier with 2 kids because we live near family now, and I can ask if I really needed something. But really having that mentality of not like, I need to do this, I need to, be here in this moment, rather like, yeah, I need to tap out. I need help. I need help right now. And if your spouse is home and you get to have help and you can tap out, do it. It is one of the most supportive and helpful things you can do. So anyway, I hope that this video is helpful. If you are struggling with mom rage, just know that I love... Oh, mommy, I'm doing a video. You want to come with me? No. If you guys are struggling with mom rage and you are feeling like it's never going to end, I want you to know that it is going to end. You get to have these sweet and beautiful moments with your kiddos. You are not trapped. You are not going to be in this forever. Mickey Mouse. Okay, go ahead. You watch Mickey Mouse. But you get to become the mom that you always... What? Band-Aid? Yeah. Okay, I'll get you a Band-Aid. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to go get her a Band-Aid. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you comment them below. And as always, happy parenting.